Imagine standing on stage in front of 50,000 screaming fans. Lights flashing, music shaking the ground, your name echoing through the stadium. And then, in the crowd, you see someone smiling at you, not cheering, not blinking, just standing there, smiling, and only you can see it. Today, we're breaking down the terrifying psychological horror sequel Smile 2, 2024, a film that proves fame doesn't protect you, because trauma doesn't care how famous you are. This is not just a horror movie. It's about guilt, addiction, pressure, and a curse that spreads through pain. So sit back, turn off the lights, and let's dive into the complete story of Smile 2. Act 1, The Perfect Life. The film opens with flashing cameras, paparazzi screaming, fans chanting one name, Skye Riley. Skye is the biggest pop star in the world. Young, beautiful, successful, but behind the scenes, she's barely holding herself together. We quickly learn that Skye recently survived a terrible car accident, one that killed her boyfriend, a fellow musician named Jacob. The public believes she's healed, but inside, she's drowning in guilt because she was driving that night, and she had been drinking. The accident wasn't just tragedy. It was a mistake, and she knows it. The first signs. Before beginning her massive world tour, Skye starts experiencing strange moments. Her assistant says something normal, but for a split second, her assistant's smile stretches too wide. Then it disappears. At rehearsal, one of her dancers freezes mid-move, turns toward her, and smiles. Not happy, not playful, just wrong. Skye blinks. Everything returns to normal. At first, she thinks it's stress, tour pressure, trauma resurfacing. But then, it gets worse. Fearful face the incident. Skye visits a private doctor to get medication, something to calm her nerves before the tour. The doctor seems nervous, sweating, shaking. He locks the door and tells her, "I think it's going to happen again." Confused, Skye watches as the doctor begins to panic. He explains that he witnessed a horrific suicide a few days ago, and since then, he's been seeing people smiling at him, everywhere. Then suddenly, he stops shaking, goes completely calm, looks directly at Skye, and smiles. Slowly, he picks up a metal instrument, and brutally ends his life in front of her. Blood everywhere. Skye screams, but before he dies, he maintains that smile, and Skye sees something move inside his mouth. Something dark, something ancient, and in that moment, the curse transfers to her. The truth returns. If you watch the first film, you already know. The smile entity spreads through trauma. It infects people who witness violent suicide. It feeds on guilt and fear, and it forces its victims to pass it on. Skye now has exactly 1 week before she becomes the next link, but she doesn't know that yet. She just knows something is wrong. Act 2, Fame becomes a nightmare. Skye begins rehearsals for her global tour. Thousands of fans waiting. Millions of dollars invested. She cannot cancel, but the hallucinations intensify. Her stylist smiles at her reflection in the mirror, except her stylist isn't behind her. The entire dance crew suddenly stops mid-rehearsal. They all turn toward her and smile, perfectly synchronized. Lights flicker, music distorts, and for a moment, their mouths stretch unnaturally wide. Then everything snaps back. No one else notices. She is alone. The entity plays with her. The smile entity doesn't just scare its victims. It isolates them. Skye begins questioning reality. She sees her dead boyfriend sitting in her dressing room, smiling. He blames her for his death, tells her she deserves what's coming. She tries to explain to her manager, but they think she's relapsing because Skye has a history of substance abuse. The public image of recovery, the private reality of addiction. The entity uses this, twisting her memories, making her doubt herself. Is this a curse? Or is she losing her mind? Public breakdown. The turning point happens during a live TV interview. Millions watching. The host asks about her late boyfriend. Skye freezes. Behind the camera, she sees the host smiling. Too wide, too long. Then the audience begins smiling too. One by one, Every single person in the studio. Silent. Grinning. Skye starts screaming live on air. Security rushes in. But to them, she's screaming at nothing. Clips go viral. Skye Riley meltdown. Her tour is at risk, but the entity isn't done. Investigation. Desperate, Skye tracks down the doctor's past. She discovers a chain of deaths. Each person witnessed a violent suicide. Each died about a week later, and each was smiling when they did. The pattern is clear. It's real, and she is next. She finds a man who survived it, a prisoner who killed someone in front of a witness to break the chain. He explains, the only way to survive is to pass it on. The curse needs trauma. It needs an audience. It needs someone to witness horror. And Skye realizes something terrifying. She's about to perform in front of thousands. Act 3, the final performance. Opening night of the World Tour. Massive stadium. 50,000 fans. Lights explode. Music shakes the air. Skye walks on stage. But something feels wrong. The crowd looks still. She begins singing, but the music starts distorting. Her dancers freeze mid-routine. Then slowly, they all smile. Every single one. The entire stadium follows. 50,000 people. Smiling. Silent. Watching her. The entity steps onto the stage. But this time, it takes her own form. A twisted version of Skye. Smiling wider than humanly possible. It tells her, you were never going to escape. The final twist. Skye thinks she's still in control. She believes she has a plan. She runs backstage, finds a knife, and decides to end herself alone. No witnesses. Break the chain. But the entity tricks her. The backstage area transforms. She's not alone. She's still on stage, in front of everyone. And before she realizes it, she's holding the microphone and smiling. The crowd watches. Phones recording. Live streaming. The world watching. And Skye violently ends her life on stage. The stadium erupts and screams. But it's too late. Thousands witnessed it. The curse doesn't just transfer. It multiplies. Final shot. The camera pans across the audience. People crying, screaming. But one by one, their expressions go blank. And small smiles begin forming. Cut to black. Ending explained. The ending reveals something terrifying. The smile entity evolved. In the first film, it spread one person at a time. In Smile 2, it found the perfect host, a global superstar. By forcing Skye to die publicly, it infected thousands simultaneously. The curse is no longer small. It's global, and it feeds on trauma amplified by media. The film becomes a metaphor for fame destroying mental health trauma spreading through society, how public tragedy becomes entertainment. Skye wasn't just haunted. She was consumed by pressure, and the entity used her platform as a weapon. And that's a full story of Smile 2 2024, a psychological horror sequel that proves some curses don't just survive. They evolve. Was Skye ever truly in control? Or was she doomed the moment she witnessed that first death? And if thousands were infected that night, how do you stop something that spreads through fear? If you enjoyed this full breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep horror story. Comment below. Would you try to pass the curse on? Or would you face it alone? Until next time, stay safe. And if someone smiles at you for no reason, don't smile back.